The shadow on the wall. Late one rainy night, Sarah sat alone in her apartment, listening to the rhythmic tapping of rain against her window. She was finishing a long day of work, and though she loved the quiet of the night, something felt off. The streetlights cast strange shadows through her blinds, and she felt like she was being watched. As she stretched to get up, her eye caught something odd, a shadow that seemed different. It was faint, but there, on the wall opposite her, was the outline of a tall, gaunt figure. She squinted, convincing herself it was a trick of the light, maybe cast by a lamp outside. But as she watched, it started to move. The figure slid along the wall, slowly, deliberately. She could see no face or details, just the dark outline growing sharper, more defined as it approached her from across the room. She wanted to scream but was frozen, heart pounding as the shadow seemed to lean in, as if it could sense her fear. Just then, the shadow stretched up the wall, taller and thinner, until it touched the ceiling. It started flickering, like it was trying to break free of the wall. In her terror, Sarah snapped out of her paralysis and bolted for the door. She reached the handle, her hand trembling. But when she turned it, it wouldn't budge. She was locked in. The shadow began to peel away from the wall, stepping closer, its form shifting like liquid. Sarah was now pounding on the door, shouting for help, but her voice was muffled, swallowed up by the apartment's silence. She turned back to see it standing just inches from her, a dark shape looming, stretching out what looked like a hand. In a final act of desperation, she closed her eyes, bracing herself for the worst. But then, silence. Slowly, she opened her eyes and the shadow was gone. The door unlocked, swinging open on its own. Sarah stumbled out into the hallway, taking deep, shaking breaths. She glanced back into the room. The lights flickered as she saw the shadow fade, leaving nothing behind except the lingering chill. From then on, every night as she went to bed, Sarah could swear she saw the shadow return, just a little darker, a little closer, waiting for the night she'd stay.